Hello again. Hello again. I would like to welcome you to our first official edition of Annie's Point of View. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about, I would be giving some insight on my life story. My life story as it relates to my Christian walk. Now, the first edition, we're going to talk about a clean conversion. The topic seems a little bit interesting, and I would like to take it from the perspective that the conversion from a sinner to a saint, it's a pretty clean conversion. When I say clean, I want to qualify the word clean by saying it's a simple. Sometimes it seems too simple to be true. Most times we think if we have to work for something really hard, that's the only way you can get something of value. But Christ has made it so easy for us that it sometimes seems too easy to be true. It's just a simple, clean conversion. I stumbled upon my conversion, actually. I often tell the story of how I ended up in the place where God directed me to begin my Christian walk. I had a neighbor who was almost as close as a family member. They would come to visit us very, very often, quite often. And she came to visit my mom, and she brought a daughter along, and we were of the same age. And so, like in the Bahamian family, when parents are talking, when they're engaging in conversation, the children just disappear. They find somewhere else to go to allow the adults to have privacy. So we got into talking, her daughter and I got into talking, and she said, you know what, I have a sports day at my church. And because she knew I was very much into the different sports, she said her team was short a few people, and she wanted to know if I would come in and help her team. I said, sure. I don't ever give up a chance to enjoy myself outdoors and in any type of sports. So she gave me the time, and I ended up there. It was the Easter weekend, and approaching an Easter weekend, I should say. It was the Saturday before Easter Sunday and Easter Monday. So when it was over, we did pretty well, and she was grateful. She was like, oh, thank you for coming out to help. And she said, you know what, we're having a nice service tomorrow. Would you like to come to church? Now, me, growing up in church, literally growing up in church, we were that family that was present for everything. And it wasn't much that I didn't know about church. So visiting different churches wasn't something that I was excited about doing, because to me it was the same old, okay, like you're not doing anything new. So I don't know what made me say yes. And she said, oh, the choir is singing. I said, well, oh yeah, I'm not going to turn on a chance to hear good singing. So I ended up, she told me the time, and I arrived, and just me expecting the same old church service, I prepared myself, got into my church look so I can fit in. Lo and behold, when I step into the church and heard the choir singing and saw the greet time, that was what really caught my attention. How friendly and exciting, and how excited the congregants were to be in church. I said, well, this is a different situation here. Like, why are these people so excited to be in church? And the choir, oh my goodness, they sang it. The music was like none other. So right away they had me captivated. And the preacher came on. I couldn't remember what the preacher looked like, but I guess because my attention was so focused on the music and how friendly the people were and how excited the people were to be in church, I said, this must be a different situation going on here. And after the sermon, I don't remember what the sermon was, but I do remember after the sermon, the altar call was made, and before you know it, I was out of my seat and to the altar. I had no intentions of making any type of confession to become a Christian. None whatsoever. I had a happy life. Things were going great with me. I was a young teen, and I had great support from my family, my older siblings. And so I was doing pretty good in my mind. And I made the confession, and I was assigned a counselor, and she called me whenever something was happening in church. She would call and ask me if I would come out and listen. In fact, I remember her basic instructions were just come out to the services so you can grow in the confession that you just made. So I said, well, okay. And I came out, and I noticed, like, I was intrigued. I didn't notice any changes in me, but I did notice that I was very much interested in what was being taught, what was being shared, and the attitude of the people towards learning about God. I've never seen so many people come out to Bible study. The churches that I've visited previous to my church, I mean, you talk about waiting in line to get out of the parking lot after service. I had never experienced that. And they were excited. People are rushing, trying to be on time. They didn't want to be late. I said, what is this? So I continued going. And how did I come across and actually realize that it was working? My siblings started to whisper in my ears, oh, you see how she's changed? You notice that? You notice this change? And they were all trying to figure out, how is it that this change came about? Now, mind you, I didn't feel anything spectacular on the inside. Like some people say during their conversion, they would feel a happiness or a glow or some type of infilling. But I'm just saying, for me, I didn't know that a change was taking place. My change was taking place subtly on the inside, but to a point where my siblings, those in the house with me, saw the change. And they became inquisitive. Oh, honey, what's happening? And I couldn't say anything. All I knew was whenever something was happening in church, I would attend. And then I noticed they became very, very interested. So I used that opportunity to get them to come along, because we did everything together back then. And so when they had their parties or whatever to go to, they'd be like, honey, I have a party, come go with me. I say, only if you go to church with me on Sunday. And that's how I got them involved in church and got them one by one deciding to commit to the Christian walk and to become a disciple of Christ. Now, I wanted to share just for a brief moment. This is how I came into my conversion. It was just a clean conversion. Very simple. I was led in the sinner's prayer. Like I said before, I didn't feel anything spectacular. At some points in my journey, my initial journey, I wondered, am I really saved? Like, is anything happening? Did I change on the inside? I was wondering, well, I didn't faint. I didn't fall out. I didn't feel any mystical power of God. And so I was kind of concerned. But I guess the Holy Spirit saw that, and He allowed me to overhear my siblings talk about the change that they've noticed. Not that I was preaching to them or condemning them in their sins. Oh, you have to go to church. No, I just went about my business trying to see what is so interesting about this situation. And that is how I came about my conversion. Now, in the next episode, we're going to discuss the actual walk from a practical perspective. What did you do daily? How did you go about it? How did you handle your present friends who were not so much in line with what your new teaching taught, and how did you go about it? Did you cut them off cold turkey, or did you work with them, or how did you handle that? Like everyday situations, this is the perspective I plan to discuss. So in the next episode, if you're interested in knowing, hey, how do I get from day one and dealing with all of the situations, circumstances that I face, whether you're in a relationship. Oh, I had to do that too. I was in a relationship at the time with someone that I really thought I was in love with. And so how did you deal with that? How did you say, okay, I have to break up with you? Or how did you deal with if you were married at that time? Well, the Bible speaks clearly about if you're married. How do you handle that? But how do you handle your co-workers or your best friend who isn't saved? And all of the other things that come about. that you would have had to deal with. So in the next episode, we'll try to go through it one by one. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to voice your opinions. I am not one who only expects good. If you have some type of constructive criticism, go right ahead and share it, and I will try my best to answer it. So this is just the first episode of a clean conversion. Take care, everyone. Thank you for watching, and tell a friend if you're inspired so they can come and enjoy and maybe benefit from what is being shared. Take care, and I'll see you again.